And this was back when I was like 14 in therapy. And I had mentioned it, and I think this is what made my therapist think I'm autistic. I had mentioned how much I fucking hate friend groups. I don't like friend groups. And I don't like them because I love connecting to someone on like a deep level. I love peeling back the layers. I always do view people as onions. I do think some onion people have a lot more layers than others do. But I love having deep conversations. I love figuring out why the people I love think the way they do. I love hearing about their childhood. I love hearing about their trauma, and I love when someone feels comfortable enough to let me in and let me see them past the shallow bullshit. And a big thing that I hate is fucking shallow friendships and shallow bullshit. And I feel like that is a big reason why I socially intimidate some people, because I can very easily pick up when when something's off with someone, you know. I pick up on that shit very easily, and I think it's because I use hide a lot about myself, so it's very easy for me to realize when someone's hiding stuff about themselves. But on a group basis, I feel like the conversations are a lot more shallow and they don't have as much substance. And I feel like in groups, people interact more on the basis of activities rather than actually connecting. Like, let's be honest, like, who openly talks about their trauma in a group like setting? And even in groups, you always notice that there's the two people who are closer than, let's say it's a group of 3 or 4, especially in the group of 3, you're going to realize two of, let's just say, the girls out of the 3 girls are going to be closer. And there's the one that's kind of floating around there, and she's kind of an addition. But when it comes down to it, you know who's closer to who. You know? And I love one-on-one conversations because it just lets you get to see how someone's head works, and you just get to know more about someone. And obviously there are settings where being in a group is okay, but I probably am autistic. My 2 sisters are diagnosed to have autism, and then I was meant to get diagnosed, but then my mum didn't want to cough up like it's like a grand to get diagnosed, so I never got clinically diagnosed. But it should be very obvious I'm like socially off. My social skills are low-key a bit lacking, and but um yeah, like a big reason why I love speaking to my best friend is because we just like we connect on a deeper level. Like we just talk about real fucking shit, like substance, and we know each other so well that if we notice that one of the people, like one of each other, are developing a bad habit, we'll let them know. Like, for example, I noticed he was getting very obsessed with like social status, and like kind of he was trying to get in with influential people because that was something that would have helped him with his future. But then at the same time, I noticed he was starting to lose a bit of himself, and because I had told him that, he'd be like, "Fuck, Nisha, you're right," and he'd gone back to his regular self. Yeah, basically, yeah. And then with him, for years, he's been telling me now, "Nisha, you need to stop overthinking. You need to stop doing this and all that." And I completely agree with him, to be honest with you. And there's like a lot of times where he has absolutely just like pointed out something to me that should have been so obvious that I should have realized, but I only picked up on it because he told me that. And yeah, and then I don't know, I just noticed that whenever I'm in a friend group situation, I'm a lot less happier than I would be normally. Like, let's say I'm with a close friend of mine, and then 2 other people come up and we start talking away. I'm not gonna inherently be rude about it or anything like that, but it's just internally thinking, I'm thinking I'd be happier if these 2 people weren't here. Like even in the gym and stuff like that. Like I have a good friend that I work out with or whatever, and then like people around the gym, like a lot of the fellas would be fucking, they like worship him. basically. So then a load of them will be coming up. And then the other people who might be coming, I might like them, but then I know I'd be happier if they weren't there, you know. But obviously, I'm not going to tell some fucking young fellas to go fuck off because they're trying to get like workout advice or anything. But it's like, it's just, I get on better with the one-on-one dynamic. And maybe that actually is because I probably am autistic. But yeah. And like, the thing is, I feel like everyone likes claiming to have OCD, autism, social anxiety, stuff like that. But like, genuinely, I have this thing where I always like flap my hands. If I feel an extreme emotion and it's normally excitement or happiness, I always flap my hands. And I kind of stop myself from doing it in public, but even I'll be going like that and stuff like that. Like, I have tics and shit like that. I don't know what to call it. But because of that, like, if I don't mask it, people automatically be like, you're autistic. And just because of how my personality is, it most likely, like, people do call me out on it a lot and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm not diagnosed, so I'm not actually going to put any terms on me. But if you've actually ever had a conversation with me, it's very fucking obvious. Very, very fucking obvious. You know? But then at the same time, one of the things I really value in life is being unique and having a unique sense of identity. So that's something I would view as a good thing, you know. And having deep conversations and just shit like that, it's something I highly, highly, highly fucking value, you know. Like, I think the basis of the quality of the friendships I have, they're based on how good of a fucking conversation can I have with you, you know. Like, can you make me think? Are you smart? Are you intelligent? Like, I don't need a fucking Einstein. I want someone who's smart. I don't care if someone's smart with numbers. I don't care if someone's like can do quantum physics, and I don't care if they know about that stuff. Obviously, I do find stuff like that cool. But what I value is, can you tell me some philosophy shit? Can you tell me about nihilism? Can you tell me about Nietzsche's ideas? Can you tell me about Schopenhauer? Can you tell me about all these people? You know? Do you come from a background that leads you to having the personality of a fucking white slice of bread with absolutely no flavour? E.g., most people in this country who are just obsessed with GA. Or do you come from like an immigrant background? Did your parents... Were your parents a bit crazy? Do you have trauma? Do you have character? Do you have morals? What religion are you? Or do you have no religion? You know, were you bullied growing up, or were you the bully, or how are you different, and why are you different to this day, and why do you think the way you think? You know? I like getting so close to people that we nearly finish each other's sentences. You know? Like, there's some people that I'm so close to that when I'm not with them, they ask where the other one is, you know. And I have some friends in my life that I'm so close to, even if someone hasn't met them, they already know about them, you know. And I'm the type of person, I have the people in my life where I only have good things to say, and if I do notice a bad quality, the only person I'm going about to it is the person with the bad quality. I don't understand who these people who can shit talk a load of their family, like every single person in their family or all their friends and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, who you surround yourself is a reflection of who you actually are, you know. And that's why I don't speak to a lot of my family, and that is why I've cut off a good few amount of my friends, my ex-friends, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But the people who are still in my life, I love them so fucking deeply. I love them so much, you know. And honestly, to be honest with you, if you taken every single person that I love and you put them in a group together, I don't think they'd get on. I don't think they'd all get along. There'd be like a clash of fucking masculine energy, I think. You know. And I think a good female friend of mine, they wouldn't get on with some of the others and stuff like that. But it's how people treat me on an individual basis, which is what I value. Like, I know it probably wouldn't be the best if some of the people I get on with meet each other, because I know they wouldn't get along because they're like from very different backgrounds, but we get on, you know. But sometimes there's just like a clash of beliefs and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that either of them are bad people or good people, or either if one of them is better than the other. It's more, sometimes people, they're so different they don't like each other, and sometimes people are different and that's what makes them like each other, you know. You're bound to dislike people, and people are bound to dislike you, you know. And I think for the longest time I didn't want anyone, and I think for the longest time I didn't want to feel anything, you know. But what I realized as I grew up and stuff like that, it's just having feelings and loving people and caring about people is one of the few things that make a life actually worth living. And I don't think in a group setting I could ever let someone know how much I love them, you know. And the only way you can really do it in a group session is if you get really shit-faced fucking drunk, and I don't want to do that, you know. To be honest with you, I'm past that shit, for real. But I'm gonna leave it here. Bye bye. I love you all. Miss Spaghetti's leaving.